Hey everybody, it's Eddie 1000 Brett. Thank you for joining me today. I am going to be talking about how we got in the situation that we are with the dating world. High value women are very rare. Low value women are everywhere.
I don't really want to get married.
Read the book to differentiate. High and low value are like night and day. A low value woman is not for you to keep. She's a pump and dumper. We leave her in the streets.
Are you guys wanting to be in a relationship? Do you want to be in a relationship? No. Damn.
A high value woman brings much more to the table. She aims to please and keeps the peace. Rocks the baby in the cradle. With women and some other side symptoms or impacts of the root problem. All right. So, in today's time, we have most women. Well, let's take a look at the stats here. I'm going to put them on the screen regarding marriage and how the marriage rate has declined over the years. Okay, since 1912 to 2018, the marriage rate has declined. And the reason for this is because women are choosing not to marry, not to strive for marriage, right? So women are they play a critical role in every aspect of society. Primarily when a man typically works. In the past, men worked to become the head of the household so he can have a wife, so he can have children, so the wife can raise the children, and he can have someone to come home to. But these days, women are not striving to be with one man. They're more just going with the flow, wanting to have fun, one night stands, which is a-okay per se, right? But what happens when the majority of women are not having kids, they're not marrying, and they're not striving to be with one man for the rest of their life? What does man or that society have to work for? What do they have to reach for? Right? Because like I said at the beginning, in the past, men work to become the head of the household, to have a woman and have kids. So let's take a look at the statistics here. So in the year 1900, we're looking at the rates, okay? The rate was 9.3. And then in 1912, the rate was 10.5, 1913, 10.5, okay? And the reason why I'm focusing on 1912 and 1913 is because that is when the Federal Reserve Act was implemented, okay? So from 1913 all the way, here we go on the right-hand side of the screen, go all the way down to 2018, we have 6.5 rate of marriage, okay? It's been going down, it's trending down ever since 1913, okay? And the reason why that is because the Federal Reserve, they usurp power from the people. They stole the power from the people and put it into the hands of the few banksters. Okay, the Federal Reserve System. So now, before 1913, we had the farming industries, we had the Industrial Revolution, we had the railroads, we had mining, we had gasoline, we had automobile. We were on a roll. And instead of the Industrial Revolution in 1913, that was replaced with the loaning institution, or the loaning revolution, or the banking revolution, which means that the farmer, the miner, the construction worker, the rail worker, power was taken from them and put into the hands of a few bankers. And this caused the United States to flip, okay? Instead of the common man having all the power, now the banksters, the system, the Federal Reserve System have all the powers. So that's why we see the decline of marriage rates, and the Federal Reserve System has wreaked havoc. It's a cancer on everything, from financial institutions to schools to healthcare to dating. It's a cancer. And women have become a slave to the Federal Reserve System. Whereas before, women would need to find a farmer or a railroad worker or a construction worker, manufacturer, to work at home, take care of the kids, take care of the house, clean, cook. When the Federal Reserve came, it basically said no. It said, we are going to serve the system, and it's going to cancel out the farmers, the automobiles, and implement health care, because being that the farming industry is monopolized means that the food that we eat is horrible, which means that there's going to be more obesity, which means that traditional women who would not require medical attention are now requiring medical attention. So that 18, 20, 30, 40-year-old woman who used to work at home, cook, clean at the house for her husband, in the past, she did not need any medical help because she was healthy. She used to eat healthy. She used to cook healthy meals. But now, she no longer eats healthy because she doesn't have time. She's always at work. She's spending all of her money on insurance, car note, school notes, mortgages. So she is now a slave of the system. So she does not need a man anymore. She can just get into debt. She does not have to marry a man. She can just go out and work in healthcare or work in an administrative type job and get her own money. But she's not gaining anything because she's going to need to spend that money on her own healthcare, her own debt, college debt, her own car notes, her own mortgage. And now she's obese, and she has a lower lifespan, and she's not striving to be with a man. And that's how society is being torn apart by the Federal Reserve. But the men are not going to idly sit by. This is why you have AI. This is why you have, I've seen some things online that just blow my mind. But you have these bots, these actual robots that look similar to women walking around, and we already know where this is headed. We already know where this is headed. They're going to be selling sex dolls. So once this happens, men aren't going to be striving to be, even a lot of men aren't even going to be striving to be with women. Many men have stopped, have given up. They're playing video games. They're scared to approach. But once these dolls or AI robots start becoming commonplace in the households, men are going to stop approaching women altogether. Most men are going to stop approaching women altogether. Because the women aren't striving for marriage. They're not wanting to have babies. They have mental baggage. So why would a man go out of his way to meet a woman who is not striving to be with him for the rest of her life, who's going to bring headaches, embarrassment, and danger, when that man could just stay at home, talk to his robot, play video games, and call it a day? This is why I say we have to abolish the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 is why our society is the way it is. Why it's ripped up and torn apart and cut into pieces. And women are not to blame for this. The Federal Reserve Act was passed in 1913. Women were not even allowed to vote back then. So, it's not their fault. This whole mess is not their fault. It's only our fault as men, and it's up to us to fix it. Abolish the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. Thank you for watching this. I'm out.